The Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council welcome you to the Avondale City Council meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence all phones. Anyone wishing to address the Council regarding items listed on the agenda or under unscheduled public appearance should complete the Request to Speak form online at www.avondaleaz.gov/request-to-speak or complete a blue card that is located at the back of the council chamber and hand it to the city clerk prior to consideration of that agenda item. When your name is called, please approach the podium and give your name for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If more than 5 requests to speak are received, comments may be limited to 1 minute. A countdown clock will be easily visible on the speaker's podium. If your comments concern an item not listed on the agenda, Arizona open meeting law restricts mayor and council actions. If your comments concern an item that is not listed on the agenda, Mayor and Council may respond to criticism, request that staff review the matter, or request that the matter be scheduled on a future agenda. Thank you for your interest in the Avondale City Council meeting.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular City Council meeting of June 15th. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence?
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Marcella, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Condi,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Solario, Councilmember Weiss,
Here.
Councilmember White,
Present.
Vice Mayor Nielsen,
Here.
Mayor Pineda.
Here. So much. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up first, we have our proclamation for Juneteenth Day of Observance. I believe Police Lieutenant Olivia Contreras will be presenting and introducing our guests.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Olivia Contreras. I'm the Lieutenant over the Professional Standards Bureau. Thank you so much for having us here tonight for the proclamation for Juneteenth. I would like to introduce our guest. She is retired Phoenix Police Department Lieutenant Cheryl Gibson Thurman, and she's currently an instructor at the Stray Mountain Community College, and she's here to accept the proclamation.
Readers. Okay. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here today and for this esteemed proclamation that I'm about to receive. So I want to say good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Cheryl Gibson Thurman. I am a 25-year plus veteran of the Phoenix Police Department, retiring there as a Lieutenant Patrol Commander in 2011. While with the Phoenix Police Department, I worked in a variety of patrol training and investigative assignments and held supervisory command positions in each of those areas. I am currently now a professor at Australia Mountain Community College, and I started working there as an adjunct professor in 2011, shortly after retirement. And I taught in the Administration of Justice Studies program, and ultimately I was hired full-time as a full-time faculty member, and I still teach in the Administration of Justice Studies program. And I was hired there permanently in 2013 and currently still working there. Today, I was invited here to speak to you about Juneteenth, and also known as the Juneteenth National Independence Day, and historically known as Jubilee Day, Black Independence Day, and Emancipation Day. So there was a number of names attached to Juneteenth, but Juneteenth is the official name. Juneteenth is the day we celebrate the emancipation of African Americans who had been enslaved in Texas. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which outlawed slavery in the Confederate States in 1863. However, it would be a full 2 years before the news was reached in Texas. Juneteenth marks the day in June 1865. That's when Texas actually got the official information that all slaves were free. And it took the Union troops arriving in Galveston, Texas, to announce the end of the Civil War and free the last enslaved Black Americans. And I just want to just go over some quick historical dates that stuck out to me and reminded me of what Juneteenth was about. Um, Now, I grew up in California and partly here in the summers. I know I did the reverse, California, summers here. And my father was a retired veteran of the United States Air Force, and he retired out of Luke Air Force Base. So that's why I spent my summers here. So anyway, some of the historical dates that are attached to this Juneteenth are on January 1st, 1863 was when President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, legally freeing enslaved people in the Confederate States. Implementation of it was impossible, though, because a lot of people did not want to give up the right to own and have slaves continue to work for them. So on June 19th, where we get the June 19th from, was the day that Union Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and issued the General Orders Number 3, officially informing the people of Texas that all enslaved people were free. And the first Juneteenth celebration took place the immediate year right after it, and it has since been celebrated till this day. Okay. And that was celebrated in Galveston, Texas in 1866. And it's celebrated annually across the United States by several of the states who still recognize and understand the importance of Juneteenth and the significance of it and what happened as a result of it. And in 1968, it did kind of fade over the years once it was initially celebrated, but it was revived back in 1968 when organizers of the Poor People's March incorporated Juneteenth in their demonstration in Washington, D.C. So it started gaining traction again in the significance of the date. And in 1980, Texas became the first state to officially recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday. And I would be remiss in saying that my father was born in Texas, and I felt like I probably should have known about Juneteenth a lot sooner than I did because my father was born in the state of Texas, but I really didn't know about it until I officially moved here in 1981 to attend Arizona State University. It became known to me and I understood the significance of what Juneteenth was and why it was celebrated each year. And Arizona, we recognized it as a state holiday in 2016. For those of you that did not know that, we recognized it in 2016, which I very much appreciated. And we recognized it as an official holiday in 2022. Although in 2021, President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, officially establishing Juneteenth as a federal holiday. So all states recognize it as a federal holiday now since 2021. And present day, while Juneteenth doesn't eliminate structural racism in America, recognizing it as a federal holiday is a crucial step towards bringing the rich history of Black Americans into the center of both our history and identity. For me personally, Juneteenth is a celebration of Black resilience, freedom, and the ongoing journey towards civil rights. And I want to talk to you briefly about the association that my school has with Avondale Police Department and why it is so important to me and the students who are students at Australia Mountain Community College. And I consider Avondale Police Department a partner with Australia Mountain Community College. Since I did work for Phoenix, one of the larger police agencies throughout the Valley, I had the luxury of knowing a lot of chiefs and personnel throughout the state. and thus bringing them to our campus to help our students understand what policing is about. But I will say Avondale is probably my number one go-to that I reach out to when I'm looking for assistance to help our students understand the importance of policing and what it stands for, and basically what it stands for me. And the Avondale Police Department, under the leadership of Chief Memo Espinosa, has opened its doors to not only me, but to the faculty, staff, and students at Australia Mountain Community College. The Avondale Police Department has allowed several students from EMCC to do internships with their department. And as a result, some of those students who have completed the internship program have accepted employment as law enforcement officers throughout several of the Valley policing agencies throughout the country, which makes me very proud that someone that, as myself, who worked in police, are also able to still bring people into the police force. And we need people desperately, because every police department across the state and other states are suffering right now because of the low enticement to get people to come and work for law enforcement agencies. The policing, I would say that the policing has taken a hit because of some of the things that we see and witness on television. So I feel it's very important for me to expose the truth about policing. And with every job, I tell my students, there's probably about 2 to 3% of people that should not be in those positions. And that's not only includes policing, but it includes banking, every job that you can probably imagine. 2 to 3% makes the whole department or agencies look bad. So I'm there to further try to instill how important policing is and how we need people such as our students at EMCC to enter into those careers. The Avondale Police Department has allowed several of its officers to come to EMCC to participate in guest lectures for my students and several of the administration and justice classes that our students take over at EMCC. So it's very important to hear firsthand from the officers of Avondale PD what policing is, what it's all about. And believe me, it's not what you see on television. And a lot of people have that perception. Policing is what they see on television, when it's far from that. So Avondale Police Department has opened its doors to me and for our students. And every semester, I bring 2 of my classes over to the Avondale Police Department. And one of the things that they offer, and I've been trying to get one of my special guests that I invited here tonight to come and participate in this, is Milo. It's something that teaches officers, and every officer throughout the state of Arizona has to get this training every year. And it's called, you probably can relate to it better when you look at it, shoot, don't shoot scenarios. But for us, it's called Milo. Back in the day before I retired, it's called FAT. And it was something I really hated to do every year, because basically if you did not pass it, you cannot be an officer out in the street. And basically, Avondale has opened their doors every semester for me to bring our students over. And it really is impactful. It does, in some cases, make a decision for people to understand, maybe I don't want to do this, because again, policing is while it's a very rewarding career, it also could be a very dangerous career, because you can go to work that evening and not come home at the end of the night. So a lot of people have to understand that. So it's my job to let people know that are thinking about careers in law enforcement, what it means to actually be an officer. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for allowing Chief Memo to have that open door policy to bring other people into the mix when it comes to communicating with community members, law enforcement, and your city council. So thank you for that. So would be remiss if I didn't mention the importance of the Avondale Police Department and Australia Mountain Community College and our partnership that has been allowed and fostering for years. And I hope it continues even after I retire from there. So I would like to finish by saying that I am honored today to receive this Juneteenth Proclamation Award. And I want to thank everyone who was involved with me being nominated to be considered to receive this award. It is very important to me, and it is near and dear to my heart. And I'm so glad that we get to celebrate this occasion every year. And I also would like to thank my family and friends and VP Paula Livingston for taking time out of their day to come out and support me. So thank you to all my family members, from my husband, my mother-in-law, my daughter, my very good friends, some members that belong to me with another organization, National Coalition of 100 Black Women. I want to thank each and every one of them for taking the time out to come and see me receive this award. It's very important and it's near and dear to me, and thank you. And last, I want to now turn it over to Mayor Mike Panetta for reading of the proclamation. And I would also be remiss in saying that your mayor is also one of my peers over at Australia Mountain Community College. We actually work in the same unit as well, occupational education. So thank you for allowing me to come here and say these few words about Juneteenth and the partnership that Avondale PD has fostered with Australia Mountain Community College.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. And yes, we definitely are colleagues, and I really appreciate hearing from you, learning from you, and participating in the ABLE conference that was recently held on the campus of Estrella Mountain. And I know that myself and Councilmember White were participated. And thank you so much for the invitation. I think we'll do it again next year.
Yes, actually this year.
This year. Oh, that's right, September. You're right.
I also belong to an organization called Arizona Black Law Enforcement Association, and we, for the second year coming up this September, we're going to be offering an annual training conference for police officers and students on our campus, and I would love to see any of you guys come and support our students and the police officers from across the state and valley that will be attending there to receive additional training.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the proclamation for Juneteenth. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, granting freedom to all those who were enslaved, and whereas the news of freedom did not become an immediate reality for the more than 250,000 enslaved Black people of Texas. And whereas on June 19th, 1865, over 2 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, enslaved Americans in Galveston, Texas, finally received word that they were free from bondage. And whereas those who were formerly enslaved were recognized for the first time as citizens, and Black Americans came to commemorate June 19th as Juneteenth with celebrations across the country, building new lives and a new tradition that we honor today. And whereas on Juneteenth, we recommit ourselves to the work of equity, equality, and justice as we celebrate the centuries of struggle, courage, and hope that have brought us to this time of progress and possibility. And whereas on March 17th, 2016, Governor Doug Ducey signed House Bill 2226, sponsored by Representative Reginald Boulding, recognizing June 19th as Juneteenth Day in Arizona and making Arizona the 45th state to recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday. And whereas Avondale officially recognized June 19th as the June 19th holiday as of February 22nd, 2022, which represents one significant step amongst many in our 80-year history, which commits the city to eradicate racism against the descendants of former enslaved Black Americans of African descent. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Avondale City Council, the City of Avondale, Arizona, hereby proclaims June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth, and encourage all Avondale residents to reflect upon the value of freedom and join in Juneteenth celebrations across the valley. Thank you. Anybody on council who would like to share any words? Okay, but go ahead, Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you so much, Lieutenant. It was amazing to hear those kind words from Australia Mountain Community College and also have our upcoming celebration. Just want to thank Parks and Rec as well for shifting our Mercados and Melodies event to be honoring Juneteenth. So for those of us on the dais, we all have this beautiful flyer. Yes, and a beautiful t-shirt. This is our Juneteenth t-shirt this year. So special shout out to Parks and Rec, libraries, Corey, Stacey, you guys work all the time, constantly, the entire team. I know some of you guys are in the room, but remember to come out to our Mercados and Melodies on Thursday, June 18th, from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I believe this activity goes on, rain or shine. And the person who is going to be, we have two guests coming out. We have an amazing band, and then one of my favorite DJs on earth, DJ Trauma, will also be here as well. So just wanted to share that. Thank you again, Lieutenant. I look forward to seeing you this September at the ABLE conference. I know that having met you many years before, I didn't realize you were the person in law enforcement who's also in 100 Black women. So just to hear your story and know your commitment to not only being a face, but also really representing the core values and principles and educating the next generation of law enforcement. It matters. You matter. And I'm really grateful for you and thankful for the leadership that you have had in the city of Phoenix, rising to the level of lieutenant. I'm not sure if we have anybody who looks like you at that level here in Avondale, but you matter, and one day we will. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, that is Thursday, June 18th, 6:30 to 9:30 here at City Hall. So please join, lots of crafts, live music, and other things as mentioned. And then if you wouldn't mind sticking around in your family, we're going to do a photo here shortly, if you don't mind. Ron, next item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a presentation for the Property All-Star Curb Appeal Award Program by Josh Perez, your Code Compliance Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. This evening, I'll be presenting the Property All-Star Curb Appeal Award recipients. The Property All-Star Curb Appeal Award was created to recognize residential property owners and business owners for demonstrating community pride by maintaining their properties at a higher standard. Properties are evaluated based on landscape care, design, and property maintenance. We received nominations for consideration and selected the following properties. Sedona Peaks Apartment Homes, located just west of the Agua Fria River on Buckeye Road, was selected for our commercial category. I would like to introduce Community Manager Kaylee Hardenberg and her foreman, Oscar Zamora, and the rest of their staff who oversee the community. Ms. Hardenberg shared some background information that I'd like to share with you. Sedona Peaks was built in 1999 and purchased by Aspen Square Management in 2013. Since then, their team has remained dedicated to creating an extraordinary living experience through top-notch customer service, detailed maintenance, and continuous community enhancements. At Sedona Peaks, their mission is simple: improving communities and improving lives. They take great pride in investing in both their residents and their community to maintain a beautiful, welcoming, and well-cared-for community. They are grateful for the opportunity to serve their residents and remain focused on making Sedona Peaks a place they are proud to call home. Ms. Hardenberg, Mr. Zamora, and your staff, I'd like to say thank you for your commitment in making your community and the city of Avondale very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next recipients are Mr. and Mrs. Magdaleno. Okay.
She doesn't want the spotlight.
After retiring from the city of Phoenix, Mr. Magdaleno chose to relocate to the beautiful Coldwater Springs community and has been an Avondale resident for the past 11 years. I'd like to read the nomination statement that was submitted on behalf of their home. Mr. Magdaleno takes so much pride in assuring his property is well maintained and manicured with new paint, artificial turf to save water, and seasonal flowers. The transformation his home has undergone since he moved in is amazing. Neighbors in the surrounding community always stop by and tell him that he has the nicest property in the area, and he is always willing to help neighbors when needed with no hesitation. So, Mr. and Mrs. Magdaleno, I'd like to also say thank you to you for your commitment and your community and keeping Avondale looking very beautiful. Thank you.
So really quickly, Mr. Magdaleno, just because we just saw your property last, I also have to commend you. I was looking at the photo that every car is parked straight, but most importantly, reversed in, which I always appreciate to see others reversing in their drive. But more importantly, I say this to other property winners that, you know, it's the pride, right, that you want to display, that you take that pride with you and demonstrate it to the community. And sometimes I would say even maybe even in this time, you don't do it to win awards. You do it because that's who you are. And it's just a representation of who you are internally. It's just displayed externally to your neighbors. And I appreciate the fact that your neighbors, you know, are commenting and making those comments to you, that they appreciate it as well, because it does. I mean, when I think all of us, we know those certain homes that we drive by, you know, each day or each week, and just like, you know, that's a really nice yard. And so just congratulations to you. And I also live in Coldwater Springs, so I'll be coming by to take a peek of the photo and, you know, just display it with pride. And Kaylee, you know, driving down MC 85, it's the same thing. It sits a little lower from the street, but the way the turf looks with the palm trees, I love palm trees. There's too many Palo Verdes in this state. But when you see the palm trees with the turf and the brick and all those other things, each time I drive by there, I think the same thing. And this is a commercial piece of property, but again, it's all about the pride. And so hopefully, with that being said, that you will take pride, all of you, the staff, and just continue to do so and display that with pride just as much. So is there any member of council that would like to share any words? Okay, but yeah, congratulations. And if you wouldn't mind sticking around, we'll take some photos with you as well. Okay, as a matter of fact, we'll do that now. All right, congratulations. Okay, next item is unscheduled public appearances. I do see we have one blue card, and this is the only one, correct, Marcella? Okay, Barney Hernandez.
Representing not only myself, but the many families of Quintana Ranch and Del Rio Ranch, who are still grieving the tragic loss of a 12-year-old boy on April 17th. That tragedy changed our community forever. After this heartbreaking loss, many of us came before this council asking for basic safety improvements, crosswalks, better lighting along Lower Buckeye, and reduced speed limit of 30 miles an hour. At that time, there were phone calls, emails, and conversations. We were told our concerns were being heard and solutions were coming. But today, the communication has stopped. Phone calls go to voicemails and are not returned. Emails go unanswered. Our questions remain unanswered, while our community continues to grieve and worry that another tragedy can happen. Tonight, I have one simple question. When? When will the promised crosswalks be installed? When will the speed limit be lowered? When will the lighting be improved? And when will our community finally see action instead of promises? We also need safe passageways for our families. There is a future walking trail connecting Del Rio and Quintana Ranch to Alomar Park, along with the green belt that families and our children will use every day. We need safe crossings between our communities. With the new Fry's grocery store and additional businesses, including that data center, coming to our area, traffic will only increase. We need safe ways to cross before these developments open their doors. We are asking council again to address and complete these safety improvements before the opening of the Fry's and other businesses. Growth should never come before the safety of the people who already live here. Please do not wait until another child is hurt or another family has to bury a loved one. Be proactive, not reactive. Show us that you truly care about the residents of these communities, listen to our concerns, answer our questions, and take action, because our community is not going away, and neither is our fight for safer streets. Our children deserve to walk safely to school, to parks, to businesses, and back home to their families. We will continue to stand together and advocate until these safety concerns are addressed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Barney. And then I believe, if you wouldn't mind stepping out, I believe Kim is going to speak with you out there in the lobby. Mhm. Okay, the next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Are there any council members who wish to have an item removed for separate consideration? Seeing none, can I get a motion? Got a motion from Councilmember Solorio, a second from Councilmember White. Council, please vote. Item passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you so much. Moving on to the regular agenda. Item 5A. Ron?
On setting the fiscal year 2027 primary and secondary property tax levy.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The purpose of tonight's item is to adopt the property tax levy for fiscal year 2027. So per Arizona Revised Statute 42-17104, the city is required to hold a public hearing, and that was done on June 1st to solicit public input. As we've mentioned throughout the budget process, we are not increasing the primary property tax rate. So there was no truth in taxation hearing this year. And So basically the levy, which is the total amount that's collected for the primary property tax, is increasing only by the growth or the new construction. So looking at our fiscal 26 and fiscal 27 rate, you can see that the primary property tax rate for fiscal 27 is going to be 0.5813. The primary property tax funds general operations of the city. The secondary property tax for fiscal 27 will be 0.8779, and that is solely to repay bond principal and interest for a total of 1.4592, again, flat to last fiscal year. And in looking at the property tax levy, the total amount collected for fiscal 27 is just under 11.4 million, 4.5 coming from the primary, 6.8 from the secondary. If we go back and look at the city's historical property tax rate, you can see that the combined rate, one, it's well below our maximum set per financial policy of $2 and has been very stable over several years. If you were to take one Avondale resident and look at their property tax bill to see where all of that makeup comes from, you'll see that the city of Avondale represents about 11% of one property tax owners. The majority of it's coming from the school districts, with the remaining coming from the county and other special taxing districts. So with that, staff's recommendation is to adopt resolution 1049-0626, setting the primary and secondary property tax levy for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027. That does conclude my presentation. I will take any questions.
Thank you so much, Renee. Are there any questions from every member of council? And as a reminder, we're taking the vote in a bit. Okay. Then can I get a motion on staff's recommendation for item 5A? Okay, we got a motion from Vice Mayor Nielsen, and a second from Councilmember Weiss. If you wouldn't mind, Vice Mayor, would you please read the resolution? Sorry, the adoption of the resolution.
Staff recommends council adopt resolution 1049-0626, setting the primary and secondary property tax levy for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027, and authorize the mayor or city council, mayor or city manager, city attorney, and city clerk to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you so much. And at this time, do we have any further debate or discussion on this item? I will just share that thank you so much for sharing the picture of the dollar, where it goes. I know I'll be sharing that, and I would assume many other members of council may do the same, but it kind of puts it in perspective as to, the residents and where the taxes come from each specific dollar. All right, at this time, can I please get a vote? Okay, item passes 6-1. Thank you so much. All right, item 6 is summary of current events. Are there any members of council who wish to share? Councilmember Solorio.
I wanted to share, first and foremost, I went out to the dive-in movie on Friday. Corey, I haven't had a chance to speak to you, but it was great. It was really, really good. And you could tell the families were enjoying their time there. Councilwoman Condi was there as well. And we were talking for a little bit and couldn't believe just to see so many families out there, first and foremost, but everybody having just genuinely a good time and wanted to swim more so than watch the movie. Right. And then secondly, I received a scholarship for a college course on housing as an economic tool developer. And I just finished that course. And I have to say, I empathize with people like Jody and economic development and learning all those things, because that is too many things to learn. Thank God we have people that are dedicated to that, but I have a better understanding of the terminology, and Ron was very nice and got me a meeting with them. So I fully understand it and how it ties into Avondale. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just wanted to say also too, what a wonderful time our family had at the dive-in movie. And it was so like Councilmember Solorio said, just to see how many residents were out there just enjoying the pool. And it was such a beautiful evening. And there was this beautiful rainbow that was right over. And I think you got a good picture of that. And I'm just thankful that we had tutus shaved ice. So we got some nice shaved ice while we were there too. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays are late swim. So if anybody wants to go swim in the evening when the sun is down, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I believe it's till 9:30. Don't quote me, but just check out the Avondale website on the Aquatic Center. Thank you.
I was a keynote speaker at the West Valley Women's Veterans Day Recognition Day. Is such a it's a mouthful, but there is just so many women veterans in the valley that don't get recognized very often, and they feel overseen. So I just want to acknowledge them, and especially the Avondale women veterans. Thank you also for what you do. I know we have women veterans in our police department, our fire department, and on staff. So thank you guys all for everything you do.
You. Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I had the opportunity to join you at the Arizona Department of Transportation listening session that was held last week, Tuesday, at the West Mech location out in Glendale. It was really neat to hear about, it was really a listening session. So the opportunity to hear some of the concerns coming from the West Valley and to know that they were being noted, considered, just make sure that people buckle up and get ready. There will be a lot of construction in the West Valley on the highways. So I think in the next weekend, be careful coming off the 101, heading eastbound. Those exits are going to be closed here in Avondale. Really important to recognize. Speaking of police departments, I had the opportunity to go to the Tullison Police Department and go into their community room for a few community meetings, and just want to send a special shout out to them. I don't know of any places that the community can come into Avondale and have public meetings in any of our public safety areas, but I thought that was super neat that Tullison does. And then I think I wrapped out the week back at that same room we were in for the final meeting of the Arizona West Valley Alumni Chapter sorority year of Delta Sigma Theta. And I just finished up my second term as second vice president for that organization. So really grateful that I had the opportunity to lead and serve.
Okay. With that said, if we could adjourn into executive session, can I get a motion? Got a motion from Councilmember Garcia, second from Councilmember White. Please vote. And it passes unanimously 7-0. For those of you who are here, we'll be going into executive session. Thank you for joining us here. Please drive safe going home, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
And for anyone watching online, City Council are going into executive session and will not be returning. Thank you.